G'day guys, we are here to run you through the DO35 hitch. So you've just received your new caravan, you've ordered it with a DO35 because all your friends told you you needed to get this U-Butte off-road hitch, but you've got no idea where to start. This video is for you and we're going to run you through exactly how this hitch operates. Alrighty, so as you can see, I have already backed the cruiser back and we have our DO35 pin already here on the tongue at the back of the caravan. So what we want to do is we want to wind our jockey wheel up to make sure there is enough clearance here underneath. So when we continue to back, so I'm going to bring that up another inch or two. We're going to stop exactly there. We're then going to make sure that we have our handbrake engaged at the start, just in case our car knocks the caravan at all. We don't want to push it back too far and have a rolling caravan heading down a hill somewhere. So handbrake on, nice and tight before we start, and then we're going to jump in the car, bring it back the rest of the distance and show you how to lower it down. So it's always good to have a spotter here that's spotting you as you're going back. I know a lot of the new vehicles will have a reversing camera and you can get yourself awfully close when you're backing back, but it's always good to have a spotter there guiding you back at the same time.
Yep.
Alrighty, so there we go. We've had a spotter. He has said, yep, that will do. We're going to jump out and we're going to have a look and we're going to go, yep, that is beautiful. So that is directly underneath where it needs to be. I'm going to jump on the other side of the vehicle here now to be able to wind this jockey wheel down. Alrighty, so one of my favorite things about the DO35 is that in the event you end up in a situation like this, where the vehicle has been brought back a little bit too far, what you do have the option of doing is just releasing this handbrake, okay, just putting a little bit of weight back on the caravan and you'll see that head just straighten out, okay, see like so, that head's just straightened out. And then we can continue to wind this. It's going back on a bit of an angle, you'll see it rotating its way around and it just finds its location. Okay, so I say to a lot of people, don't get too worried at the start if you are slightly out of shot, because you will, the hitch has enough movement in them. I've shown this on previous videos before with the articulation inside of that head. It has enough to be able to roll with you and find the correct position. Okay, so now we are on, but what we need to make sure that we do is engage this red button. Okay, so we've taken all the weight off the jockey wheel. We can see that there is no weight on the jockey wheel there whatsoever. We're going to press this red button now, and that little tongue here will activate and that locks the top of this hitch onto the pin on the back of the vehicle. So that is by far the most important thing that you need to remember, and why it is also vitally important that if you are the driver of the vehicle, it is your responsibility to check the back of this particular tow hitch, okay? There have been too many times where I've seen people think that their partner or think that their friend has hooked it on and has latched it down correctly. If you're driving, your responsibility, okay? So make sure you jump out of the driver's seat and come and press this button. When you press down on this button, there'll be no resistance there whatsoever in the event that that is engaged in. Now, as another little side note, the top cover here, this little housing, will not fit if you don't have that red button engaged. So now we can go ahead and put on the cover for our DO35. So a little trick here, we want to start at the back and then roll it forward. So we just want to clip it in there at the back, and then we just roll it forward and you'll hear it click in like so. Alrighty, so as we can see, we are now all locked into place. We are wound down on the side of our DO35 pin and we have engaged our little lock there and we've put our cover on. So now it's important to make sure our handbrake is all the way off. So sometimes I'll see people travel and it will be slightly up. So make sure we press that button in and we have fully disengaged that particular handbrake there and that is off. We are then going to come to our safety chains. Okay, it is very important that you cross your safety chains and we make sure that our D shackles are a rated shackle. You then also have your Breaksafe cable. Okay, so these will look different on different vans, but you need to make sure that this actually fixes to the back of your tow bar. So on your tow bar, make sure there's a provision there. Get yourself a nice little bulldog clip, and that will go through and lock on, or a little D-shackle, and that'll lock on to the back of the tow bar as well. That's a safety feature in the event that this was to disconnect. It will pull out and automatically stop the caravan so it doesn't pass you at 90 kilometers an hour on the road. You do not want that happening. We have our 12-pin plug, and this particular one just has our grey Anderson. Now they are going to go on the back of your vehicle, and there is also another video that we have shot going through the differences between grey Anderson, red Anderson, and also 12-pin plugs as well. So make sure you check out that video for a more detailed explanation on the caravan electrics. Okay, so there's a little example of our chains crossed, our plugs, our caravan electrics are plugged in, our breakaway safe there as well. Last thing we need to do is take the jockey wheel off. Now we're going to have our handle here at the back. We're simply going to rotate that handle out, grab the jockey wheel, and then you can choose where you want to position your jockey wheel as far as storage is concerned. I just recommend to put them inside of the tunnel boot, or you can wind it all the way up and put it here inside of this toolbox there as well. One thing I wanted to make mention, and please make sure that when we're towing, we always tighten back up this jockey wheel bracket, jockey wheel handle, and jockey wheel bracket clamp. So there's been too many times where I've seen people leave these out to travel, and that just continues to sway back and forward as you're driving down the road. And then heaven forbid you get to your location and you do not have this handle, you're going to be unable to actually disconnect the caravan from the car. So make sure before you leave that you tighten this one back up, so this cannot come out at any time during travel. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, it is just like the chippies and the tradies out there. We want to measure twice, cut once. Okay, we want to always make sure we are double checking before any mistakes can possibly happen. So I was just about to jump in the car, but even myself, it is important that I jump to the back of the connections there and ensure that everything is done. So what I'll do, I'll head down the back and I'll just do my spot check, okay? So I'm going to lift up the coupling. I'm going to press that button. I'm going to make sure that one's engaged, okay, before I lock that back down. I'm going to make sure my handbrake is off. I'm going to make sure my jockey wheel clamp is away and tight. We're going to push a connection in here, make sure our electrics are nice and tight and that our chains are done. It is vitally important, guys, that we ensure that we always check and double check before we hitch on. This is a lot of weight traveling down the road, and it is crucial that you, and it is your responsibility as a driver to ensure that you are hooked on correctly. So from me to you, from Adelaide RV to you, please make sure that you do not skip a beat when it comes to this. If you have the kids in the background or the wife's there saying, come on, we need to go, please make sure you just take an extra 30 seconds to ensure that this is done correctly to avoid any potential disasters on our roads. Now it's time to jump in the car, pull the towing mirrors out and hit the road. Alrighty team, so that is the DO35 coupling. I have explained exactly how to hook the DO35 coupling onto the back of your tow vehicle. So if you are new to caravanning and you've just picked up your new van, please make sure that you spend a little bit of time practicing before you get out on the open road to make sure that you have it down pat. Like anything, it is just a system, it is just a process to follow, and ensure that you do each step along the way. And make sure if you are driving, please jump out and check. It is your responsibility. I really hope this video has been helpful. I really hope you have learned something out of it for all first timers out there trialing out the DO35 coupling. Good luck. You have a great off-road hitch. It is one of the best, if not the best, on the Australian market right now. That's it. I really hope we've helped get you adventure ready. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Follow Adelaide RV for a lot more tips and tricks coming to you.